Aloha and welcome to Tea with Kafi. I am your host, Kafi today. Please click like and share and subscribe. I'm having coffee today. No tea today. Today we're going to do coffee. I got a nice, bold Hawaiian blend. Reminds me a lot of my guest today, who I'm super excited about. She is bold and very funny. I've known this girl since she was 9 years old, believe it or not. So it's a great pleasure for me to bring her here as an adult and, see all the wonderful things that she's been doing. T. Saunders is a skit. Her name is T. Saunders. That's the guest today. She's a stand-up comedian and a skit artist. From the Shaft, from Chicago, straight from Chicago. And her comedy, she expresses her newfound lesbian livelihood and all the fun that comes along with it. So check this out. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek. Who we're gonna be seeing.
Have y'all ever been supposed to makeup by these makeup motherfuckers? The bitch got me. You hear me? Now let me tell you, the bitch did it so smooth. She did it so smooth. I'm walking around, got my little limp on it and shit. Listen, she said this. She said, "Oh my God, baby, excuse me. Come here. Come here. Who does your makeup?" And I was like. Like this bitch. But I didn't know she was selling me. She said, no, baby, you got eyeliner. Look at your foundation. I said, bitch, this was God's plan. She's like, there is no way that is your face without no makeup. I said, yes, honey, this is me. She said, come on in here for a minute. Come on in here. I didn't know what I was going to get into. I walked in slow shot. When I tell y'all I bought a $150 foundation brush and was using it on my eye. Have y'all ever been supposed to makeup by these? Have y'all ever been supposed to makeup by these makeup motherfuckers? The bitch got me. You hear me?
All right. Please welcome T. Saunders to the show.
What's going on, people?
Hey, what's up, girl?
What's up?
All right, girl. So, what you drinking? What you drinking? You got your tea?
Soursop tea.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Cheers. We about to have
Trying to make my immune system, with this corona, man. Females ain't did me right last, so we got some corona tea right here.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. Like I was telling the audience as I was introducing you, I have known you since you were 9 years old. And now you like this big old grown woman doing comedy.
Yeah, put the big part on there, didn't you?
Girl, shut up. Shut up. So let me ask you this, because I haven't really seen you throughout your comedy, your journey through comedy, and I've known you since you were 9. You were funny then. Got it honest, because your mama is hilarious. But what led you to this path of comedy?
Well, honestly, everybody's been telling me, like you said, since I was a kid, how funny I was, and that I'd eventually be on TV. And I just kind of played it off because I knew I was funny, like talking to my friends and stuff. but I didn't never, ever imagine being stand-up funny, you know, so, I was with my ex-girlfriend at the time, and we were watching, Kevin Hart's, interview with Oprah, and she was like, you know, you should really consider doing stand-up. I said, I'm funny, but I ain't funny. And she's like, no, but you are. So for some reason, it just kind of stuck with me. I was like, all right. So I called my best friend that like 5 that next morning, and I said, hey, do you think I'm stand-up funny? She said, bitch, duh, and hung up on me. I said, okay, but she my best friend, so maybe I should ask someone who don't like me that much, you know. So I called my mama, and I said, hey, Mom, I said, do you think I'm stand-up funny? She said, bitch, duh, and hung up. So I was like, okay, I got it. Everybody feels the same exact way. So I was staying in a military town at the time. I drove an hour out, did like an open mic, and I was the only black person in the room. It was like 50 people in the room, and I was the only black person there. Never did stand up before, nothing like that. I get on, I do 3 minutes, I get off, I ask the first person I seen, I said, how was I? They were like, oh, you were hilarious. How long you been doing comedy? I said, that was my first time. They said, what? And it was over from that. It was like I couldn't even catch my breath. I was so hyped.
So how old were you then?
I was 25.
Okay.
25.
And
yeah, so
at
this
that
is...
time... I'm sorry. What did you say?
No. Yeah, I've only been doing stand-up about 4 years now. Almost going on 4 years this month.
And so when you were 25 doing your first stand-up, what were those skits like? Were they LGBTQ related? Were you this newfound lesbian? When did that part come along?
So, yeah, honestly, as far as I can remember, like my original stand-up, so it was, I don't even think I really was talking about being a lesbian. I think it was something that you just kind of knew I was. So I don't think, I honestly didn't start off talking about that. I started talking about, you know, kids and stuff like that. And then I started really getting hired for parties. So it wasn't even in regards, like my 4th time ever doing stand-up, I got paid $300 to do a 30-minute show. My 4th time. So my journey with stand-up is way different than like old school chicken circuits and how people were getting paid for the first few years. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So the horrible lesbian came about because that's just what I was. I knew that I wasn't completely go and just started adding it to my stand-up. Like the skits came maybe like 2 years after I even started doing stand-up.
So what made you decide to incorporate that into your comedy?
It was I talked about what I was going through. Okay. So whenever it started like really because I only really had hands with straight people, even though I was gay. Everyone, you know, again, I was the last person that knew I was gay. So my stature of friends were straight, you know, so I would talk about how it is trying to hang out with lesbians and feeling extremely uncomfortable and out of place. Because I'm like, I don't think the way y'all do. You know what I mean? So, right. As soon as I started really feeling that, that's when the horrible lesbian started coming in. It was very, very soon into my stand-up.
Oh, so how the skits, you know, that you do with the horrible lesbian and Ma'am, right? What experience did Ma'am come from? Because she's like this, like bulldog aggressive kind of character.
So Ma'am is exactly that. So it came about because there was some, you know, I'm a bit as aggressive or dominant as I may look. I'm not that. I don't like women being too aggressive with me. And that's, especially when I started doing stand-up, that's how women were literally coming at me, like extremely aggressive. I have no idea what fear I put off. You know, I feel like they smelled me. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, and it was usually like really older lesbian women that were just like, come here, little girl, you know, here's some candy, get in my truck. That's what it felt like. And then, so a lady in my DMs slid in my DMs once, and she was like, you know, I would eat your booty. And I said, Lord, is this all y'all think about? I'm like, and I kind of stemmed it from that. I was like, I don't know what it came about, but I don't want this. Like, I don't want this. If this is what it takes to be a lesbian woman, I'm out. I'm done.
That's funny, because I was going to ask you next, what is ma'am's fascination with the booty hole?
You got to ask her. I chose to leave ma'am in 2019. I said, you know, no more aggressive women. But she keeps finding her way, like creating like fake apps to call me and stuff. So I don't know. You might see what happened next very soon, actually.
I have really been enjoying the skits. And what made you decide to start doing the skits as well? Because a lot of, you know, comedians that do stand up, you know, some of them, and a lot of them that come from like a theater background, you know, are doing skits, you know, but just from like a stand up comedian standpoint, what made you decide to like incorporate the skit comedy?
Well, you know what? That's just where everything was going. Like, I'm not big on social media, so I was late to, you know, they had that Vine stage when everybody's doing Vines, and then Instagram popped up, and then Snapchat, so I was a little late to everything. But then I just realized, like, hey, if you want to be known, I'm in a small city in Texas. If you want your face to be seen, you're going to have to put it out there. So I started doing little videos there, but the first true horrible lesbian video was the barbershop video. And when I did the barbershop video, it took off way more than I thought it would. That's the one that went viral, did almost 2 million views. I think I hit 1 million views in like the first 7 days. And so I was like, okay, well, I guess this is what I should do, you know. So it was I haven't had a video hit as hard as that one, but that's how I developed my fan base, and how now I got hundreds of people with horrible lesbian shirts all over. Right. So
I still want my horrible lesbian shirt.
Yes, man. Yeah.
And why are you a horrible lesbian?
Yeah, that it's like, and so, you know, I love that anybody can wear it, even men, you know what I mean? Because men are considered horrible lesbians, really, you know what I mean, in some type of concept. So even straight women can wear it because, you know, as a woman, we compliment women all the time, you know what I'm saying? Don't mean we want you, we just compliment you, you know what I'm saying? So anybody can wear a horrible lesbian shirt.
So what would be a perfect lesbian? What would be the perfect lesbian? That might be the next character.
The perfect lesbian. I don't know, girl. You're going to have to call me when you find her. I haven't met one yet. You know, because, so why I push it so much is because there's so many restrictions in the LGBT community, and I am not one for bars. I don't like being held back. I don't like being told what I can and cannot do. You know, so horrible lesbian. I really do it to push buttons, honestly, as well as to free a lot of other women that are lesbians, because there's other women that find men attractive. I find men attractive. I always find men attractive. Men are beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So it's just I don't want them in that way. You know what I mean? So it's I have the best of both worlds. I can make a man feel comfortable to be in my presence and not on the defense, as if, you know, I'm not trying to be a counterpart. I understand my role as a woman, you know, and I love my role as a woman, but I still take your female too at the same time. But you be comfortable. Yeah. So I won't let, you know, lesbian women know to say, hey man, it's okay to say that man is fine. He is. That don't mean you want him. You know what I'm saying? That just means, yo, you're not blind. You know what I mean? So that's why I push it.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting because yesterday we were talking about the whole acronym expansion of LGBTQ over the years. And, you know, I was like, if you look at, you know, just let's say LGBTQ, right? Which is, you know, all of these letters after that. But if you look at that and then you start to read what these longer acronyms mean, a lot of them is just almost like repetition, you know, just like repeating itself, saying the same thing. There's so many ways to say that you're gender fluid.
Right.
Or, you know, trans.
I think that's better now.
Yeah, whatever it is. But what I find is that it's more, okay, we're outside the box, so now let's, you know, create all of these little bitty boxes to put ourselves in, because
that's it.
You know,
it's just more box. It's just more restrictions. It's more, as much as it's put out there. So like, you know, non-binary and pansexual, and I mean, these are all different labels to say, okay, well, I'm still gay at the end of the day. I'm just gay. For all of us, we're gay. Or I might be, you know what I mean? Even if you're half gay, you're gay nonetheless. It's, you know, so I think it just makes it so much harder, honestly, because no matter, this is my opinion, no matter what label you place yourself on, like under, you're still a human being at the end of the day. So anyone trying to force a label, if you're trying to force your label to be either accepted or heard, it seems like you got something, you know, that there's something so controversial about it rather than just being yourself. You know, so that's why I say I'm not a stud. I'm not an aggressive. I'm T. So whatever you take from that, you know, if someone asks me, so are you bisexual? I said, if I want to be. I don't give direct answers. You know what I'm saying? Because it's none of your damn business anyway. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, you know, I consider myself to be pan, and I just learned this because I'm like, oh, there's a P. I just learned that there's a P. So, and I figured pan is probably the best way to describe it. There's some other one acronym called like demisexual, which is basically people that fall in love with other people based on connection more so than gender, which is really, for me, once you let all of those barriers down, when you are like gender fluid, right, and aware of that, you let all those barriers down, then basically that's what it becomes anyway, that you're connected to the person, not so much their gender, right?
Exactly. Yep.
So
I feel like if that's a thing, because I trust your word, that's new to me. I'm like, demisexual. I thought it was like you only like had sex with demigods or something. Demi, but like, you know, that's ultimately what it is, you know, you're taking away everything else that doesn't matter, and you just connected to the soul itself. You know, which should be love, period. You know what I mean? I personally, I was raised in a religious kind of, I have very religious people that are dominant in my life. So, you know, I was just told you were either the D word or the F word. That was it. You know what I mean? So there was to be hearing all these new.
Oh yes, those two words.
Yeah, rhymes with bites and maggots. That's all I was told. I didn't know there was LGBT, nothing. It was a D or an F. That was it, So I'm still, but now my focus, honestly, this year and just moving forward is to kind of more engorge myself in on the community to understand it's more, because I had no desire before. I mean, I was like, why is there so much homework to like a woman? Like, why? It's too much. I just want to, be with women, and then, so now, but that is honestly my audience. I have a mixture of audience, but honestly, it's the LGBT community. And I was like, man, well, maybe I should understand y'all more. So, you know what I mean? So that's my goal. That was my goal, is to understand why some people are the way they are and why so many labels, and to, get in on that side, because the straight side ain't, they stress me out too. So might as well just come on board and figure y'all out. You know what I mean?
Yes. Welcome to the Pan Party.
Yeah, I'm stressing already. I think I'm sweating.
It's definitely, like, I remember when it was LGB, right? And then the T and the Q were added, right? I remember that. And then, like, the rest of the acronym letters just kind of came upon me. I like learned that, like, out the blue somewhere. And so as you read it, I noticed that it's more of like a textbook for people to, an explanation, a description for people to kind of grasp. So it's so many different, because everybody is so unique in their in the way they express themselves and who they are and that kind of thing. So it's really hard to narrow down, one type of person with a name or category or whatever. But it gives people that heterosexual side of the fence an opportunity to be an ally, which is also in that very long acronym.
Right.
And so then the more that they understand.
You can't just be down with the gays, huh? You just can't say that no more, huh? I'm down with the gays and I'm an ally. No, I gotta learn all this. It's some homework.
Yes.
It's homework.
Yes. So in a sense, the community has created a textbook for maybe the outside world to better understand who they are. Because ultimately, they're somebody's mother, cousin, sister, brother that might want to, extend that relationship and have a better understanding of who their sister is. And you know what I mean? So I'm thinking this is where we're going with this. Let's explain it. Okay. But basically, it boils down to them, 5 letters, LGBTQ, because you're lesbian, you're gay, you're bisexual, trans, and everybody is queer. That's it. Everybody is
That's
queer.
what I thought. So I thought queer was like pansexual. I thought queer was like, I thought queer truly meant gender fluid. Like, if you're all of the above and all and then some, or you're somewhere in the middle, or you know what I mean? It was just easier to say queer than it is to try to figure out, anything else. But
basically, everybody is just straight up queer. Period. Because everybody's queer. You don't even need any more letters. Just the Q. Bam, it's done.
That's what I thought. But, I'm quick to offend people, so I just shut up. Because I ain't got time to, get snapped. I get snapped on, honestly, in my videos. You'd be surprised how many people are offended by some of my skits, or, like, especially the ones, like my Horrible Lesbians one was when they're involving men. I've gotten so many, like, you're the reason why, men don't respect us, and you're not a real lesbian, so don't claim us and all that. And I was just like, okay. Like, this one person really did, like, put a comment under saying you are the reason they don't respect us. And I said, no, men don't respect us because we women wearing boxers. But if that's where you want to go, if you want to take this video as the reason, then that's just what it is. But if a man can't respect a woman for who she likes, then that's not a real man. I don't have anything to do with that. You know what I mean? Right. Now, it's not like I'm out here sneak digging, but I guess whatever. You know, that's their business.
But even if you wanted to sneak dig, that's your business, really. That's your prerogative, as Bobby Brown would say. That's your prerogative. If that's what you want to do,
right? And women are really, and I think it shows a lot about their insecurities. I am very secure in who I am as a woman, who I am as a lesbian woman. So I don't have to explain myself. If I make a video making out with a guy, that don't make me any less of a lesbian woman because I made out with a guy in the name of comedy. Or if I wanted to get into acting, I'm not going to limit myself to a lesbian actress. I'm an actress. I'm not going to, you know what I mean? I'm not a gay comedian or a lesbian comedian. I'm a comedian. So, yeah.
I hear you, girl. So speaking of all of this, acronyms and all of these languages that we're speaking in this millennium, is something called a statty. Okay, you got a shirt, statty, STADDY, which is like a combination of a stud and a zaddy. But take me back because I don't even know what a zaddy is, really.
So statty, you know, is a stud zaddy, you know what I mean? So zaddy, run it back, you know, in the straight world, when women and men come together, men like to be in control, and the word daddy was a thing, you know? But sometimes that's weird for people. Like, I don't want to call it while I'm in my, you know, while I'm enjoying you. I want to think about my dad, so that's when you started saying zaddy, right? So zaddy was a thing for that's zaddy, whatever. So then I had never really heard zaddy. I know I didn't create it, but I was like, I'm gonna be a stud zaddy. If I'm gonna be something, you gonna call me zaddy. I don't want to be connected to men. I'm gonna have my own thing. You know what I mean? Because it's about time we get some respect on it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that is definitely a thing.
Okay, that makes sense now. Because I listened to the Google version and it was nothing like what you just explained. The zaddy Google version says something totally different, but now it makes sense to me. I get the concept. Okay, it's that.
Yeah, zaddy could be like, okay, like I see zaddy over there like attraction, like he looks bomb, or or sexually being, like a cat named during sexual intercourse. So it's a lot of things like that zaddy over there, like that's my future man, like so it can be all types of things. You know what I'm saying? Really. People create stuff all the time, so.
Yeah, I see. So what should we be expecting from you coming up in the future? What are you working on now?
Well, so, shout out to quarantine. I've had nothing but time to really kind of get myself together on some things. So, I created a clothing apparel company, which is called HL Apparels. So if you look out for that, it's going to be, definitely something for our LGBT community. That's why I started the Stag shirts and just a few other things. So HL Apparels, and then I have a YouTube that I haven't placed out yet, but it's going to be called Tea Out the Box. So again, it's really everything. We doing things that stumps on restrictions and regulations of what's approved or regulated by the LGBT community. So I have my channel starting hopefully in like a couple of weeks. So, and then hopefully when outside opens back up, stand up is my first love. Okay. So I hope when that comes in, but I'm really excited about Tea Out the Box.
Oh, that's cool. I'm excited about Tea Out the Box too. I can't wait to see this. I have to say that I am so proud of you because I've been watching you, girl. I've been watching. I see. I'm like, look at Tiana. What's she doing? What is she doing?
I can only imagine how it is when y'all watch me.
Yes, and it's for me,
getting older and
yes, getting older. Okay. And for me, from a perspective of like somebody that's your mother's age, and I've seen you grow up since you were a little kid. It's always interesting to watch. And that's a very bold statement is, to be a stand-up comedian. A lot of people don't have, that kind of gumption. That takes like a very bold personality to just be able to go out there and do it. And I'm watching you, and I'm like, this girl is killing it. Like, who's training her? Who's, skit comedy, and it's just, some really exceptional work. And I come from an artistic background. So, I grew up knowing, exactly what that type of stuff entails. And I just feel like you're such a natural born artist, and the craft is like on point. So I am very proud.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So it's still surreal even to this day. Like, I'll look back or someone to repost my video, and I'm not gonna lie, I get into my own head sometimes because, again, I didn't have an expectation of anything when I started my skits, or I didn't have an expectation when I got on stage. It was literally an outlet for me. It was not, with the idea of being famous or working with famous people, and I had the lead singer from Silk saying some parts of my skit. So it's like stuff like that, you know what I mean? Right, you know what I mean? I'm like, dude, I used to get it in with men to your music, and you over here talking about my skit. Like, come on, man. So it's crazy, And I think truly the boldness come from, I've been around nobody but bold people my entire life, including you in the family. Like, I had noticed around a lot of great characters and loud and dominant women who spoke their mind and said how they feel. I mean, my mom, you and your sister and the entire family. I want to say I started kind of zoning in on who I was at a very young age, where I didn't care what nobody else was thinking about me because I knew I was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So that shout out to y'all, because honestly, y'all created this. This y'all fault. This is y'all fault. This is all y'all. The music I listen to, the way I kind of carry myself, and my old soul. That's y'all for y'all.
Well, look, it's good to know that we're doing a good job out here. You know what I mean? So much pressure. But
I was saying before, I knew I was saying, tell the world how y'all didn't tell me early enough. You was going to tell them that I was just in denial my whole life, not even knowing.
Well, girl, look, you were so young, you wouldn't know yet. And we couldn't tell you because we didn't want your mama to get mad at us. So we should come. Let's come. Don't say nothing. Mm-hmm.
That is still crazy to me. That is crazy.
You told me one day, you said, you were telling me about your boyfriend. And you must have been like 11 or something like that. You was like, oh, my boyfriend. And I looked at you, I said, girl, you ain't got no boyfriend. Be quiet.
You know what? That sounds very familiar. You said that back to me. Because you used to literally, like, girl, come on now. You don't even know what you got to get into. You don't even know what the world got to
Yes.
That sounds very familiar, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Right, girl.
But
What
I
tell your
appreciate
mama
you.
saying?
I
Stop
enjoy
saying
you.
that. My daughter, stop saying that. She got a boyfriend. I'm like,
I'm dead. Y'all did me dirty, man. Y'all should have told me. Somebody should have whispered, like, hey, sis, don't waste your time with all the rest of them. Because you coming this way. You don't even do it. You should get ready for this whirlwind of life. It's y'all, man, boy. I blame y'all.
You gotta learn, girl. You gotta learn. Oh, Tiana. I'm looking forward to seeing what you got coming up, girl. I'm looking forward because I think it's gonna be big things. It's the big things coming.
We got to do this a year from now. We got to see it like an update. We got to do a year from now. See where. I think that'd be dope because I got some. I'm really excited about the future. I'm not gonna lie. It's so much you can do in this world, you know. And now that they are so open to, the LGBT community, it feels like I got the best of both worlds now, honestly.
Yes, and you do, girl. You really do. So thank you so much for coming on the show, my darling. It was wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you for having some coffee and tea with me.
Absolutely. Cheers to that, girl.
Cheers to that.
Look, and more coffee and tea coming.
Yes, ma'am. Y'all make sure y'all tune in, all right? This woman right here is a beast. She's a monster. She does her thing. Y'all don't even know how dope she is, but you're going to find out.
Oh. Thank you, girl. Hopefully I'm as dope as you.
Yeah, no, I got my dopeness from you. I love you so much.
I love you too. All right, girl.
All right, now.
Go out there and be blessed.
I sure will.
Before you go, hang out with me while I announce what I'm going to do next week. So next week, same time, same place. I have the pleasure of interviewing Nyaso Carter, who is a Tantra instructor and couples therapist. So tune in next week, 11 a.m. Hawaiian Standard Time, 4 Central, and 5 Eastern. Okay? Can't wait to see you there. Please click, share, like, subscribe, all of that stuff. We're collecting subscriptions.